This video is to show you how to do a silvery smoky eye. It seems to be the one thing that a lot of women are intimidated by doing is a smoky eye, and it's actually very easy. So what I'm going to show you right now is how to do a smoky eye in about 5 to 10 minutes using just a few shades. So before I get started with my eyeshadows, I wanted to tell you there is a brow lift video I would recommend watching first, but basically that is applying your brow pencil, my eyebrow lift light, and my eyeshadow base in natural. That canvases the eye, hides any veins, redness. It also keeps the eyelids from sweating and creasing your smoky eye. So it's very important that you do those 3 steps first before doing the smoky eye tutorial. So since I have those done, I want to show you my little 11 well compact, and I have some colors chosen here. I'm actually going to do the ones along the top row to show you the silvery smoky eye. The very first shade that I'm going to do is called Silver Bullet, and I'm going to apply that with my large shadow brush. And it's just a fluffy, kind of a chiseled, flat brush that picks up a lot of color and places a lot of color. So I'm going to start there, and right here towards the inner corner of my eye, I'm going to lay some of that Silver Bullet. It's going to give me a little bit of a highlight, it's a silvery blue shade, and it's going to open up the eye towards the inner corner. You could also use a white or a creamy version. I have a color called Whipped Cream and another one called Morning Frost. They could also work here if you don't want the silvery blue look. After applying the first color, I then take the corner and crease brush. It's more of a pencil head brush, the really tight, small, kind of a round head. It's really good for working in small areas. If you try to work with a larger brush like this, to get that corner, you're going to get too much on. With that one, I'm going to work with a color called Gunpowder. Gunpowder is a dark gray without shimmer. I like to use things without shimmer in the corner and the crease to give a little bit more depth. So I'm going to add Gunpowder to the outer 1/3 of my lid. It's going to bring this side of my eye in more. So lighter brings it out, darker brings it in. And don't worry about drop off. As you can see when you're working with shadows, you're going to have a little bit of shadow flakes kind of fall down on your cheekbones, but don't worry about that till the end. Then I like to take more of a fluffy brush. This is called the Blending Eye Brush. I really like this with a taupey brown without shimmer to blend out the edge of my crease. I'm not a big fan of using colors in my crease, so I don't like to use dark silvers or white, anything like that in the fold. It confuses the shadow. So I like to use something matte and brown. And as you can see, this brush is a great blending tool. Remember, the looser packed the hair, the easier it is to blend. So I'm working towards my brow bone, going back and forth, and it's almost like I'm tucking it underneath this bone right here and pulling it upwards. It also gives more of a gradient effect, going from your dark color, which is the Gunpowder, the dark gray on the outer corner of my lid. So I don't see a defined edge where I stopped and started going from light to dark. It's kind of a middle shade. This one's actually called Sweet Latte, and it works with all shades. So whether you do green, blue, white, whatever you put on your eyelid, bronze, peach, this is a really good color to blend out the fold. If you do my eyebrow lift and you put the light color underneath here, you do not have to put a white shadow under the brow. This has a really nice pearl, a really light pearl. I don't like a lot of shimmer under the eyebrow. I feel like it just looks really made up. So I think just the brow lift by itself gives a really natural glow and a highlight and pulls the brow upwards towards the edge. If you don't have my brow lift light, you could use a color like my Morning Frost or my Whipped Cream that you may already have at home to use underneath here. This is a really nice brush. I call this my Clean Sweep brush, because after applying dark shadows, you can just kind of dust off whatever may have fallen down, and then take a Q-tip with a little bit of eye cream or moisturizer, and this will help pick up some of the dark shadow that fell down without messing up your concealer too bad. So now that I've picked up some of the drop off, I'm ready for eyeliner. So I'm going to use my watercolor eyeliner, which is a cake eyeliner that you take a flat liner brush with. You add some water and make a paste. So I have a little spray bottle here. At home you can just dip it under the faucet. This eyeliner can be used underneath the lash line. There's actually a video how to apply watercolor eyeliner that'll show you exactly how to do that. But the eyeliner can also be used on top. So when you're doing a smoky eye, you want a really rich frame to your eye. So really build this liner up thick towards the edge, giving it what we call a dovetail. So at the very end, it kind of wings up. Keep it real thin towards the inner corner of your eye. I really like to go mostly underneath the eye and just a touch on the top. That way it keeps the eye open towards the center, going thicker as I go out and dovetailing it. Underneath the lash line, thinner towards the center, dovetail towards the outside. And it's always easier for me, I feel, when I hold my forehead back and chin up, because I can see my eyelids more versus trying to work straight ahead with your eyes closed. So keep your chin as high as you can up and work around your lashes. Once you get the eyeliner on, then I like to use a smudge brush, something with a smaller head like this. Any eyeliner brush will work. With the black shade, kind of thump off any excess so you don't get any more drop off. But when you work with the black shadow, mine's called black licorice, this is going to soften the look of the liner, giving you the smoky look. And you can build it as heavy as you like. The more black you use, the more smoky it's going to get. And just kind of fade your way into this silver blue called Silver Bullet, and into the gunpowder where it just kind of fades together. The black and the dark gray without shimmer on the corner should fade into one. I've never been a big fan of putting a lot of eyeliner on the bottom, but for a smoky eye you can do that. Go back to the watercolor liner, kind of pull your lash out and put a little bit of the watercolor liner on the inner membrane to hide that pink skin around the eye that makes the eyes look a little red. During the day I don't recommend this. This is only for the smoky eye look. After applying that, I go back to this little brush right here. It's called the Smoky Eye Smudge Brush. And right along the edge of that watercolor liner on the bottom, meeting the dovetail over here on the edge, I just go back and forth again, heavier towards the outside and thinner as I go in. And you can make it as smoky as you want on the bottom. Remember that brush I was talking about, the pencil head brush like this? I call it the corner and crease brush. It's also good to use for a smoky eye at the very bottom. Just make sure the corners meet over here. It's almost like you're doing a C shape. And remember, your eyes are not twins, they're sisters. So they're not exactly the same. You have to just kind of keep looking back. You may have to add more on one side if you feel like you have more of a hooded eyelid. Go a little bit higher up with the dark shade. That way it'll kind of match the eyes a little bit better. I'll go back with one more quick blending with my blending eye brush just to make sure all the colors are fused together. I always add one more coat of mascara after applying a smoky eye. I feel like whenever you're working with lighter shadows like the Silver Bullet in here, it ends up kind of covering your lashes, so it's really important that you go back with one more coat of mascara at the very end. A little bit of eye cream on the Q-tip one more time, and then I do one more coat of concealer just to make sure it looks flawless, kind of cleaning up the edge of the shadow. So I'm using a little bit of my Nude Bisque quick conceal for face and eyes, and I just turn it up right along the edge of the shadow, almost like I'm going up towards the end of the brow, and then blending it out. Use my finger, kind of press it in. And that completes the Silver Smoky Eye tutorial.